The day bison graced your village was the most important day of your life. But for me, it was Tuesday.
Welcome to the Rated G for Gamers podcast, episode 360. Before we start the show, we want to thank all of our wonderful fans who have supported us. And if you want to show support for the Rated G Network, you can find us on Patreon at patreon.com/Rated G for Gamers. For as little as $1, folks, I know we say it every week, as little as $1, you can help out your favorite podcast on the internet, all right? And help us make more content for you, the fans. Also, you can find us on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Rated G for Gamers. And finally, please rate and review us on iTunes and Spotify. We appreciate all the love. I'm your host, Dave Rotino, and this is my co-host, Dan, the podcaster formerly known as Classic Robinson.
What's going on, man?
I got a gamer grief. I'm gonna call it a gamer grief.
Ooh. You know what we're going to do to Gamer Grease now? You know what we're going to do? We're going to hit it with Spider-Man Web.
Hey, there you go.
The cup is back. The cup is back.
There you go. The cup is back. What's in the cup? Let's go ahead and play What's in the Cup. All right?
Well, take a guess. Take a guess what's in the cup.
I'm going to say you have water in there. Now, I don't know. We didn't necessarily talk about this. I'm not sure what's in Dan's cup. He has got an elusive liquid in there. Now,
I tell you, I'll give you a hint. It's too hot, so I can't drink it while we do the show.
All right. There's certainly some options in there. I'm still going to go with water, but
because the show, I'll just be slurping because I have to slurp it because it's so hot.
Well, look. If you want to guess what's in what's in Dan's cup, head over to Twitter. Let us know, add us, and tell us what's in Dan's cup. There you go.
No, tell me. I like what's in Twitter's cup better.
What's in Twitter's cup? Well, I'll tell you what's in Twitter's cup is some spicy tweets that I kind of sounded off on. All right, I got a little upset.
Man? What you angry about?
Well, somebody made some comments about the Tears of the Kingdom launch day last Friday that we participated in, and talked about it on the last episode. We had a great time, but I found this via somebody that we follow and respect and like and all that. They responded to this woman's tweet, like kind of shouting at all the people who were waiting in line for Tears of the Kingdom, saying it's stupid and you're wasting your time, and what are you guys doing? Video games are stupid, essentially, because she saw all these people waiting outside for this Tears of the Kingdom game, and they go, what are you doing? Was her comment, and then everybody kind of clapped back and was like, well, what is it matter? Who are we hurting? We're enjoying all going for this either midnight release or day of release, or, and standing online and talking to other gamers and, having a good time. Everyone's playing their Switches and all that. It's a fun time, right? People get enjoyment out of it, right? There's no harm in that. But they're like, yeah, she's like, video games are stupid, whatever else, this and that. So I kind of clapped back at her via the tweet thread, and I was like, oh, it's a waste of time. She specifically said it was a waste of time. It's a waste of time, like going on Twitter and complaining about things you don't like, because it's the same thing. She's spending her energy and time on Twitter, posting about, oh, I don't like this thing and the whatever. Like, who cares? Okay. It doesn't matter.
Okay, wait. So when you first told me about this last night, I thought it was a person. I thought it was a gamer who said it's a waste of time waiting for physical games. No, she's not even a gamer. She just says it's a waste of time because it's a video game.
Yeah. Gotcha. I don't want to get into this lady's political leanings or whatever else. It's not about that. It's about this tweet.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
It's about this tweet, and it just kind of
love to go through. I would love to go through her Twitter thread, right? Just like to see the things that she's posted, to see what she's done in her life.
Oh, it's not great. Yeah.
No. But I want to see her, in the balcony at a Metallica concert or something. I don't know how old she is, so I'm just going to use Metallica.
Okay,
right?
sure. We all know Metallica.
She's in a Raptors at the Metallica concert. I just want to tell her it's a waste of time to be all the way up there. You can't even see the band.
Right. Why would you bother spending like $100+ for a terrible seat? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where she is, but let's just say she's a Yankee fan. Let's say she's in New York and she's like in the Raptors. She's all the way at the top with the lights. She could see the birds are chilling with her. She's all the way at the top watching a Yankee game, and you could barely see the field. Why did she waste her time and spend all that money and go in traffic and find parking and have to walk because she's not going to find any parking near the stadium to go see the Yankees play? Yep. You know why? Yep. Because she liked that band. She liked that sports team. It's not a waste of time when it's something you enjoy.
100%. Well said, Dan. Well said.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm fired up. Let's get this show on the road. Twitter got me fired up. We have an awesome show this week. Coming up, we're going to talk about the PlayStation Showcase that was announced. I'm excited. I just hope we see actual first-party games that are going to come out for the PS5. And then a new Mortal Kombat game finally gets revealed and release date.
Surprise! How did this blindside us? We like we didn't know for the last 4 months.
2 months.
2 months. Yeah.
2 months. Yeah. But before we get into any of that, let's begin the show with a game that will be shutting down this fall, and that's on the Nintendo Switch online service, and that's Pac-Man 99. So it will be shutting. No, actually, yeah, August. Sorry, I thought it was going to be. I thought it was in the fall. The first report I saw, I said October, but it's actually August 10th. The online service will be. Well, the game will be shutting down. So, kind of, if you really like Pac-Man 99,
it's a great game.
Rest in peace. It's
a great game. Yeah.
We don't know if it will come back in any shape or form or fashion. I mean,
no, doubtful. They're going to make a new one. They're going to make a new tie-in game or whatever it is. They'll make I don't know, Pitfall 99 or something, Zelda 99 or whatever.
Well, I miss Mario 30th anniversary, right? It was the 35th anniversary. Mario 35. I missed that. That was awesome.
Yeah.
And that's something that didn't need to go away, right? Because they own it. I understand, it's kind of weird to play Mario 35, 2 years later. It should be Mario 37.
Whatever. It's part of the 35th anniversary, yeah. But yeah.
Just call it Mario 99 or something. Like, call it something else.
Well, there was only 35 other people playing, I think. It was a limited set. Yeah.
Well, call it something else, right? Call it Mario competes or something, right? Like you could call it anything. Nintendo has a great name.
That's less of an issue than the name being inaccurate after the anniversary. But yeah, man, I'm upset Pac-Man to shut down. Yeah, they really should have kept Mario 35 around for a bit longer. I got first place in both of them, so I'm good. I got the crown, but they were really fun games.
Third place. I think third place was the highest I got. Pac-Man 99 is something I didn't really play.
Okay.
I'll be honest. I didn't really play that.
I thought it was
Tetris.
I thought it was fun.
We still got Tetris though, right? Like that's still
have Tetris. Tetris is from Eureka. Tetris is a license from the Tetris Company, which is the name of the company that owns Tetris now, right? Back in the hands of the creator, which is great. But that's a license. Mario, obviously, it's in-house. Pac-Man is obviously a license, which is an odd license. Don't get me wrong. You want to go into the history of Pac-Man? It's very interesting. You would think Namco owns the rights across the board, but it's a little weird.
I would say this. I would wonder how many people are actually playing Pac-Man. So I can understand why they would take down the Mario 35th, Mario 35. It was in conjunction with the anniversary. They did say it was limited time. It's themed around the anniversary. So, I mean, yes, yeah. They could change the naming, but I could see why they would take that down. Tetris, I don't think is going anywhere because I think millions of people play Tetris on the online service. But I would say, I wonder.
Tetris is more ubiquitous for sure. Yeah.
I would say how many people are actually playing Pac-Man 99. Like,
yeah, the only thing
I literally tried it out one time.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say
I played Tetris more.
Well, sure, so did I. The only thing I'll say about all that is you get into some odd territory when you market Nintendo Switch Online with these value ads. Because that's what they are, right? You get them for free if you have the online service. So you get Tetris 99, you got Mario, and you got Pac-Man for like 2 years. I think it came out 2021. Tetris has been around 4 years. And, God, Mario 35 was a couple months. Maybe half a year. Yeah, maybe like half a year. So, Nintendo, they kind of went hard with Tetris. Tetris is still around, which is good. They did market the Mario one. They did say Mario was a limited time, though. And they kind of marketed Pac-Man a little bit, you know. If they went harder with the, hey, you get all this cool stuff with it, and then they end up shutting it down, that's a little bit of a craw. Not to mention that the Pac-Man game is littered with microtransactions. They're cosmetic, but they have them. You know, you can change the themes and the backgrounds and the whatever else. So that all goes away. There's nothing you can do with those. They're non-transferable. They were only for that game. So luckily, I didn't pay for any of that stuff. But for anyone who did, you know, that's it. Now, I think there's a single-player component, like a DLC add-on download or whatever that you can get that you could still play because it's local. There's no online play with it, I think. So that's kind of cool, but everything else just kind of goes away. So,
I mean, it's like anything with an online service. I mean, you know, you're really into your Batman Arkham Asylum games, and it leaves Games Pass, right? You're really into your Assassin's Creed games, and then it leaves, you know, the PlayStation Plus service. So,
yeah,
you know,
I mean, it's not great. Yeah, it's not great.
It's in that vein that, you know, I mean, look, I love certain Netflix shows, series that, you know, but Power Rangers Zeo is no longer on. I'm just using that example. Power Rangers Zeo is no longer on Netflix, right? Like they have like half of all the Power Rangers series. Right. They're on there. So, you know, it's part of course when you do a subscription-based service that it can always shut down.
Yeah, and I guess
just look at all the people who bought games on Stadia.
I guess well, this only applies to the month-to-month. Like if you pay up ahead of time, it's like, well, you're in it. But if you're doing the month-to-month and you're like, I don't like what's on the service now because there's just a lack of content, you can always cancel it, which is good. If you pay up for the year, well, I mean, you're in. You know, you get the discount, and you gotta deal with what they got.
Well, let's say this: when one game leaves, 3 games get added, and that's exactly what Nintendo did. And Nintendo expanded their Switch Online service, their GBA, with all the Super Mario Advance games. So now you already had Super Mario Advance. Watch, the naming is gonna go crazy.
Let's see if Dan can get this right.
Stay with me. We already had Super Mario Brothers 3, Super Mario Advance 4 on the service. Which was Dave's favorite game ported to the handheld, favorite Mario game. Now we have Super Mario Advance 1, which is Super Mario Brothers 2 and a classic arcade Mario Brothers. And then we got Super Mario World, which is Super Mario Advance 2, which is weird. And then you got Yoshi's Island, which is Super Mario Advance 3. So now we have all the Super Mario Advance games.
This wins the award for most convoluted naming scheme ever. Just, if you want to keep the Advance moniker, call it Super Mario Brothers 2 Advance. Super Mario Brothers 3 Advance, Super Mario World Advance, and Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World. What is the subtitle of Yoshi's Island?
Super Mario World 2.
Okay, Yoshi's Island, Super Mario World.
It's actually
2
the other way
Advance.
Around. It's Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island.
Advance. There you go. That's it. It's much less convoluted. It follows the numbering structure of the original games until you get to World, and it goes World and World 2. Less convoluted. There you go, Nintendo. If I could go back to 2001, when you were porting these over, that's what I would tell you.
Okay. Well, we have a game that may be jumping from PlayStation exclusivity to Xbox. It looks like Stray, which was the cat game that came out last year. Has got an ESRB rating for the Xbox, well, Series X, S, and Xbox One. So that it could be coming to Xbox. It could be at the Xbox showcase.
Right.
That's why it's being rated now, so it's ready for Xbox to show it off on the showcases. And it's going to come to Games Pass because it was on PlayStation Plus. If you had PlayStation Plus a subscription, it was there first, and I actually bought the physical edition, which took forever to get delivered to me.
Now
I bought it in the summer.
Okay. Well, were you were a fan of Stray, right?
I'm a fan of Stray. It's a game that I wanted to get back to, and I'll be honest, I forgot how to play it, and just sort of.
You're a cat. Just be a cat.
Just be
knock stuff over, and spill your water everywhere, and beg for food when you already have food. It's very easy.
Yeah, didn't he get nominated for Game of the Year at the Game Awards?
I mean, it may have been one of the nominees, but it had no chance of winning. Not to say it was a bad game. I'm not trying to disparage it, but the games that it was going up against,
No, I mean, look, it was not. I'm saying it was nominated. I know it didn't win.
Yeah, which is it's an honor in its own right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it got best indie game.
It may have, yeah.
And best debut indie game, and I think it was nominated for game.
It was their first game from that studio. Yeah, which is cool. Yeah. I mean, you don't get a lot of cat simulator games.
Yeah.
And this was,
you know what this tells me? You know what this tells me? This could come to Switch too. I mean, it's not. This could be a Switch game at some point.
Yeah, they could 100%, and it'd be perfect for on the go gameplay. Yeah.
All right, Dave. This is part of the show when I would ask you, as we always try to start the show but epically fail. What have you been playing? But there's no need for me to even say that because I don't even need to look at the show notes because I know you've been playing the same game I've been playing. And that is the game of the year of 2023.
John Madden football? John Madden football 94?
No. No.
Sorry.
No. Super Mario World? No. It's Tears of the Kingdom. We both been playing Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. We should just have a whole podcast talking about Tears of the Kingdom.
Oh, my God.
Dave, I haven't talked to you about this ahead of time. So how far are you? How far are you in? I mean, we've been playing hours. I don't want to know how many hours. I just want to know what you've done on the map so far.
I should probably see how many hours I played. I'm not sure. I put a lot of time into it, though. Let's try and keep this spoiler free because I know the game just came out. So you got to be very careful about the story beats. So I think the last time we talked last week, I was off the tutorial area, right? I did the tutorial.
No. So when
I was about to get off the tutorial.
You were about to get off the tutorial, and then when we spoke right after we recorded, you said you're finally in Hyrule.
That's right.
And you just started to run around.
That's right. So I did so they kind of guide you. They guide you a little more than the first one, I think. To here's where you should go first, which is fine. And I kind of went up into the mountain area a little bit and then said it was too cold, literally and figuratively, and I backed out of that area. So I got a bunch of stuff unlocked around Hyrule, and then I was doing trying because they're just everywhere, and you got to do them. We're like, I'll go do this shrine. It's right there. So I did a bunch of that stuff. I did one of the dungeons or temples or whatever you want to call it. Really cool. I did that, and then I went down to the Zora Kingdom, Lanayru, the Lanayru area in the southwest, and I went to the Zoras, started talking to the Zoras, got sidetracked. Now I'm all the way in the upper northeast. I just got out of some crazy maze, so that's about where I'm at. I got a hella ton of stamina and a couple of hearts. I did it opposite, and it worked out really well. The pro tip and this is a pro tip for the first one too, it makes it a little bit more difficult in the early stages, but you go stamina early, because if you don't, when you try and climb mountains and get around, you're not going to be able to make it. You don't have enough stamina. Even if you get the climbing gear, which you can get pretty early on. You can get like the climbing chest piece. You can get up some mountains, but not a lot. So you need a bit of stamina, and you need to make some stamina potions as a backup, just in case. And then you can get to like all sorts of places, right? If I didn't do that, I wouldn't have half the stuff that I have now. Now, does that mean you die a lot? Yes, because I was dealing with 4 hearts for a while. So, yeah. But now I have 7 with like 9 shrine orbs in the chamber, which I need to cash in. So I've got about a full second ring of stamina. So that's kind of where I'm at. I keep getting sidetracked in the best way. I'll say that.
Okay.
Well. I did come across a cool quest, which looks like there's a racing track that you can race on. There's a time trial racing track. Yeah, kind of.
Mario Kart.
Kind of. I had to do some initial quest and teach him some stuff with all the Zonai equipment. So I need to go back and finish that quest chain. But yeah. So where are you at in the game? Yeah.
I made it. I also made it past the tutorial. I'm in Hyrule. Okay. I got the glide. I can glide through the
glider.
air.
Yeah.
I got the glider. I went hearts because once you start facing, once you start like venturing out and the further away you get, the harder the monsters are, right?
Yes.
So
yes.
One hit takes like 3 to 4 hearts. Mm-hmm. So I went heart heavy. Okay. So I got like 7 hearts right now. Mm-hmm. Not to mention I wanted to strategically do shrines just all around the map so I can, easily get back and forth.
Oh, the fast travel. Yeah.
Fast travel.
That's the other reason, right? You can just like, boom, I want to go here. And there you're there. You don't have to travel over the mountains.
That's the incentive to do the shrines on top of the, you get hearts and stamina. It's like, well, I want to go back to this. I want to go back to that world over there. I want to go back to that town over there. Oh, well, I did a shrine that was like right there. Mm-hmm. So did that. So I'm still in a water world, funny enough.
Okay.
I think I'm in the dungeon of the water world. Mm-hmm. I think that's where I am. So once I beat that, then I'm going to go north where you are. But by the time I go north, you're going to be all the way south.
Maybe. I almost went to the Gerudo Kingdom. But there was a whole thing to get in there, and I'm like, I can't really deal with this right now. So,
and as far as climbing mountains and stamina, that is one way to do it. You can keep climbing because you have the stamina.
Yeah.
Or you can find a part of the mountain where that always has like a cliff on it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
you climb, you get to that cliff, you find a way to get to that cliff, and if you're close enough, you could just use your powers and go through part of the cliff. So you don't have to climb.
If they have the outcroppings, you can do that. Yes. Yeah, for sure. I keep forgetting that you can ascend if there's a flat area and it's low enough, right? Because there's a certain height requirement for it. But yeah. So that's a fair point.
But if it's low enough, but you may be ascending, because at one point I just I said, oh, can I ascend? And I ascend, and I was ascending forever, and I went to the top of the mountain. Mm-hmm. And I was like, they strategically put that there, and people forget that they can ascend, but they put the areas where you can ascend through the whole mountain.
Yeah.
Which is awesome and helpful, by the way, because I at one point because I wanted to get to the water world, and I was like, I know there are just so many crazy monsters around the plateau, right? Where you can, if you're just going to try to walk or take a horse and ride through. Mm-hmm. So I said, let me get to the highest point in the mountain and just glide down.
Okay.
And it's the water world, so I could just fall into the water.
And you're good. Yeah, you don't have to worry about it. Splash down, and then you're out. Yeah.
I could just splash down and I'm out. My only issue with Tears of the Kingdom, and I am nitpicking, is again running with the B button, right? Like running with the B button and then climbing with the X button.
Oh,
sort of jumping in and climbing with the X button. And I know you can button map your controller in general.
Yes.
I wish you could remap in the game only. I wish it was like, hey, in the game you could switch these buttons around, but you have to remap it. I thought
there was a way to do it. Maybe not. I thought I heard someone talking about that. You could flip them around, because I think it was the opposite in Breath of the Wild. They flipped it around.
I looked up somebody's YouTube tutorial, and it was just button mapping the switch buttons.
Oh, okay.
In the settings, in the controller settings, and I didn't really want to do that because I'm going to forget.
It's going to be for every game going forward. You're going to. It's going to be for every game going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, so I didn't want to do that. So I'm just, old school, get good, just get used to it, and that's what I've been doing.
There you go. There you go. Did you go underground at all?
I went underground. Well, I've been finding all these caves that are underground, but they don't count. But I did go underground once, and I was like, nah, not for me.
Oh, there's some good stuff down there. It's tough because you have what they call the gloom. And that's everywhere down there. So, and if you don't have the right equipment, you're just going to get bodied, because they will, if you step on the gloom, you lose your max hearts, and it just takes them away. Now you can get them back, but it requires special elixirs, or you got to go to the underground equivalent of a temple to like cleanse yourself. And then you get the max hearts back, but it doesn't fill up your hearts. So that's a thing. And then everybody down there is super strong because they're all infected by this gloom. It's and there are also bosses down there too, which I've thankfully avoided. But
I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good. I'm gonna.
They're gonna make you go down there eventually.
Well, we'll see about that. I'm gonna stick to above ground and in the sky for now.
Okay.
I'm not gonna go. I don't want to go down. I don't want to go all the way down and deal with crazy monsters that have been living under Hyrule for centuries. No, I'm good.
Okay.
All right, Dave. We're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna get into the top gaming news of last week. We're back. All right, Dave, let's get into the top gaming news of last week, and let's start with PlayStation Showcase was announced. So if you listen to the show when it comes out on Tuesday, the PlayStation Showcase will be tomorrow, May 24th, 1 p.m. Pacific Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So this is essentially the start of E3 or Summer Games Fest or whatever event you want to call it, right? Like, this is the start. This is Sony's the first to show their hand, and it's a showcase, right? It's a PlayStation showcase, not a PlayStation
mini or whatever,
direct or whatever they call whatever they call their sort of micro showcases, right? Because the showcase is when they're going to show the big stuff, the heavy hitters.
I told you they were going to do something over the summer, Dan. Sony's not gonna leave out of the conversation. They're gonna get in.
Well, they didn't do it. They didn't do it last year. They didn't do it last year. They waited until September to show something.
Yeah, so, it is weird. I don't know why they waited so long,
but I think I know why they're doing it now, right? Because I think they want to, all the rumors are that the Spider-Man 2 game is coming out in September, so they want to get ahead of that and promote that, right? Because we've seen no gameplay. We've seen just
like a teaser. Yeah.
We've seen like a teaser trailer. We haven't really seen anything. So I think that's going to be the major thing they're going to focus on because it's coming out this year. I guess my question would be, what would you want to see in the showcase? What do you want them to show? Because they did in the notes of the notes of the showcase, they did say that they will be focusing. There will be a focus on PSVR 2 games too. So that's kind of exciting to see what, Half-Life Alyx, a reason to buy the PSVR 2, maybe, right?
Half-Life Alyx is certainly a possibility given the technology of the PSVR 2. That is a very good guess as to what they would show. I think I would certainly like Alyx. It'd be great. Right now it's locked to PC only with that one particular, I guess, the Valve Index or whatever it is. I think it's like locked to their thing. So not a lot of people can play it, and it's partially a hardware thing, right? You need to have a certain spec level to play it properly, and apparently it is very good. No, there is only one answer, Dan. That's it. There's one answer as to what you want, and that coincides with what they will show. Since
The Order 1887, I know it.
Oh, in VR. In VR. My God, imagine. No.
Okay.
Imagine though. Wipeout.
Well, for that to happen, Facebook would have to actually greenlight that because Facebook owns the developer of the Order 1886.
That's right. And they they got their own MetaQuest thing going on, so it would be a MetaQuest exclusive. No. The answer is Wipeout. All right, they're gonna make a new Wipeout game. And it's gonna be great. All right, I'm wish manifesting this or whatever you want to call it. I'm making it happen, Dan. It's gonna happen because Sony owns Sony has owned the Wipeout studio. I mean, it was made by Psygnosis, the first one of Lemmings fame. They bought out the studio because they loved the game so much. It was a PlayStation exclusive. And then it came to PC. There was at least one PC port, and also on the N64. But after that, Sony's no, we're going to be in house, and they've made amazing games ever since. It was one of the best experiences on the original PlayStation VR. Also, Tetris Effect, also very good. Those are I think my top two experiences. Make a new one. Make a whole new game because the Omega Collection was just a collection of Wipeout 2048, the PS Vita one, Wipeout HD, which was a digital download for the PS3, and there was another set that was in there too. It was 3 games, and it was really good for what it was. But yeah, that's it. That's my answer, Dan.
That's all you want. You don't want anything else. You want any other game.
I think they have to go hard on PSVR. There is not a lot of system sellers, sadly. I would tend to disagree a little bit, but I think a lot of fans are still there's not a game that I would want to play in VR on the system yet. So I think they need some more. Maybe I don't know, maybe God of War gets VR support. That would be awesome. Because right now you have Horizon. Horizon's the big game. You're going to get it for Horizon. If you like racing games, you can get it for Gran Turismo. And then there's a bunch of games that they ported forward to the PSVR 2 that you can play on the PSVR 2, which is good. And there's a lot of other stuff that's cool, but it's a little bit more niche, I think, as you go down the line. So they need some maybe Spider-Man gets it. How great would that be?
Maybe. No, you know what I think? Well, I don't think we'll see Wolverine because I think they want to focus on Spider-Man.
It would be a little bit of a competition for sure. Yeah.
Even though Activision Blizzard is being purchased by Microsoft, there are still marketing deals in place. So I think maybe we could see Call of Duty at the showcase.
Modern Warfare 3, or maybe a Black Ops 5 or a Ghost 2.
It'd be Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, they already put out Modern Warfare 2, the remaster.
Okay, all right.
Modern Warfare 3.
All right, then it's gonna be Black Ops 1 again.
Oh God, I hate their naming scheme too. Yeah, or numbering scheme.
Yeah. No, I think we'll see Call of Duty. That's something that's realistic because they still have the marketing deal with that. I don't think we'll see Wolverine. I want to see Wolverine
for sure. I think they're gonna,
I think they're going to They're going to want to focus strictly on Spider-Man. There's going to be I don't know if it's going to start the show or end the show, but Spider-Man will be a big focus at somewhere in the showcase.
Now,
I think we'll see a lot of third-party games as well.
Do you think with the Wolverine thing that it's just they don't want to compete? Because I think they have something to show, but Sony's well, we have Spider-Man, which is coming out soon. Your Wolverine game is going to be at least a year or two out before it's done. Because I feel like they have something to show, but Sony's we don't want to compete.
I think they don't want to. Yeah, they don't want to have a competing thing with the Marvel, license. Spider-Man is coming out. Let's put its best foot forward.
Sure.
We'll have a showcase at some point in September or October and showcase Wolverine. That'll be our big thing because when you don't have E3 proper, right, where you put all your eggs in one basket and that's it for the whole year, like we used to have. and then you sort of have these like showcases, half showcases, twice a year, and little mini directs throughout the year. You got to have something to show because everybody's going to be like, I'm so hyped for it, and it sucked. It's well, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
So if you're saying, hey, Sony's going to have a showcase or something later on in October or September, Wolverine would be the big thing that people will be talking about because Spider-Man will be already out.
Right.
The rumors are true. It's coming out in September.
Right.
So I would split that up, but I definitely Call of Duty, and we don't know what's coming out this year. What else is coming out this year? Right? Again,
as a
Street
Sony
Fighter
exclusive
6,
or just in general?
well, just Sony in general. Like Sony in general. We know Final Fantasy 16 is coming out next month, right?
In June. And we already had the big 3-hour extravaganza, 45-minute extravaganza, however long it was.
Yeah, Street Fighter 6. Sony has the marketing for it. It's not exclusive, but they have the marketing for it.
They'll definitely have a thing in there about it. Yeah,
they're gonna have a thing about Final Fantasy 16 and Street Fighter 6 as well, right? But what else is coming out later in the year? Like, what's the big? You have the big fall game of Spider-Man, but is there anything else that's coming out, even third-party wise, right? Call of Duty, Spider-Man,
those are the big ones, yeah. I mean, you obviously can't get anything involved with Starfield because it is no longer coming to PlayStation, right? They obviously were building for that until they got acquired, and then everything kind of shifted over. So we don't get that. You don't get Gears, you don't get any of that stuff. That's all Microsoft properties. I would say I don't necessarily think it's going to be coming out this year, but a new Astrobot thing.
Okay, I could see that.
Because, Astrobot VR, great experience. Yeah. The Astro World thing that came with the PS5 was really cool to showcase what the PlayStation can do. Great game. Let's do a follow-up, right? He's kind of now the unofficial mascot of the PlayStation. His cute little PlayStation creature, little robot guy.
So Ben Studio is celebrating their 30th anniversary, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's the 30th anniversary. They had tweeted something about 30th anniversary, and they can't wait to show off what they've been working on. So whatever game that they're working on, that's not Days Gone 2, because we know that's not in the works.
Rip.
So that could be that's definitely a game that they could show at the showcase, and I would say The Last of Us multiplayer game.
Oh, right? Yeah, that's right.
That's right. Finally from Naughty Dog. I mean, it has to be ready. They've been working on this for years. Right?
They got to have at least a teaser, something, a little, pre-rendered thing.
Well, actual gameplay, because we've seen artwork. I mean, that's all we've seen at Summer Games Fest last year. We saw artwork.
Exactly, and they're like, "Hey, we're working on this thing." I'm like, "Okay." Yeah, I mean, it should be great when it ends up coming out. I think you're right. We should see something about that. Yeah,
definitely see something about that.
Mm-hmm.
As far as what I want to see, I would love to see this new controller that's like a PSP stream, like a DualSense streaming device.
Oh,
right. The rumored controller with a screen that's like a streaming device. I do think it's real. I honestly think it's real, and it could be something that they can show off.
I don't doubt it. Showcase. Yeah, I don't doubt the validity of it. My excitement level may be a little bit different than yours, but
it's something. Another handheld. I got a handheld from Sony. I love Sony handhelds.
I know, but it's not really. It's not an exclusive platform or one you can just pop in a game cartridge and play on the go. By all accounts,
it's the Wii U for the PlayStation 5.
That's you know how well that went over.
The gamepad for the PlayStation 5. Hey, listen.
We'll see.
Listen. Everybody. I don't think they like the form factor of the Wii U gamepad, but the option to I could just play, sort of handheld wise while somebody else watched his TV.
I mean, that's what the Switch turned into. That was a good prospect. Yeah, for sure.
That's a good prospect. Yeah, I guess the price point would be important in this case, right? How much is the gamepad worth?
Sub 200.
As a separate peripheral to the Wii.
Sub 200. Like if it's over 200, no one's gonna buy it.
No one's gonna buy it.
Yeah. I'd say you get it down to like $150. I may think about getting it. I would.
If it's $1.50, if it's $1.50, I would pre-order it.
You're gonna get 2.
I would pre-order it. That's awesome. So, but this kicks off. Next week's show officially kicks off like E3 Summer Games Fest coverage.
Yeah, it's E3 summer. You know, the E3 summer coverage.
And in 2 weeks later, we get Xboxes, because Xbox's showcase is June 11th, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
So 2.5 weeks later, it's Xbox's turn. The only thing I don't think is going to happen, Nintendo. I don't think we're going to get a Direct. All the rumors are that the Direct would probably come like some point in August.
Oh, and it's going to be like a mini. Like, what do they have?
It's going to be like a mini.
They have nothing.
They have nothing.
I mean,
nothing.
Not that they need anything. Zelda is Game of the Year, right? We've already established, we've already given out the awards. We've had the ceremony. No, I mean, like Zelda's huge. It's crushing sales numbers. It's insane. Like every time I go on my Nintendo Switch and I look to see, what are my friends playing? It's always Tears of the Kingdom. You can bet on that.
I think they sold like 10 million copies, right? Or some crazy number like that.
I think it's at least 10 million copies. We don't know the digital sales because Nintendo won't release those, but we do know the physical sales. So there's even more digital sales, but
yeah, I think I saw a report that it sold like 10 million copies. And then Jedi
10 million worldwide as of 3 days ago, yeah.
Jedi Survivor only out for 2 days in April, because it came out at the end of April 28th, right? I think it was 28th, right? 2 days in April, best-selling game of April. In 2 days, which is nuts if you think about it.
Yeah. Like
all the games that, Dead Island 2 and I had a whole list of games that came out in April. In 2 days, this game's the best-selling game in April.
Right? They're killing it. They're killing it.
Crazy. That could be my runner-up to Tears of the Kingdom. Great game.
Okay.
All right, let's stick with Sony. Sony actually did announce, as part of their Global Accessibility Awareness Day, a new accessible controller.
I will say, welcome to the party, Sony. Microsoft welcomes you. Here's your drink.
Well, you know what? Sony's been doing it software-wise. Microsoft hasn't. So, Microsoft did put out
Naughty Dog has been doing it software-wise. Naughty Dog's been killing it. And I guess Studio Santa Monica has been pretty good with it, too. With
Ghost of Tsushima, very accessible.
Yeah.
Sony first-party studios, Dave's Gone, very accessible.
Sure.
All these first-party games, they've gotten into it, the accessibility. So, where Microsoft Studios hasn't, but they did put out a controller. Now Sony's followed suit with putting out a controller. User interface and buttons, detailed. It's like a joystick. It looks like a kind of a weird arcade, an old school arcade controller, because you have the joystick and then you have the circular pad with all the buttons on it.
Yep,
right?
It's got a little ball top, and then it almost looks like that old Simon game. The little memory color game.
Yeah,
it looks a little like a Simon thing, but it's in the black and white PlayStation colors. I wonder
black, white, and blue.
Yeah,
black, white, and blue.
I wonder how heavy the base is, right? Because it's a round stick. Well, it's a round circle with 8 different buttons that you can put little designators on. This one's triangle. This one's square, and then in the middle, I think, is like a D-pad in that, and then there's a ball stick to the right or to the left. You can orient it however you want. You put it up top, put it at the bottom. It looks real customizable. You can change the type of curves on the buttons, like all the big white buttons. You can change from flat pillow or like a downward curve, like a concave. So that's kind of cool, you could figure out what kind of works for you. Yeah.
And funny enough, you can actually mount this to a tripod, which I don't think you can on the Xbox version. I don't know. I could be wrong about that.
Well, the Xbox version is a giant rectangle, which you plug in things via a 3.5 millimeter jack in, and you put in whatever accessory it is. I mean, there's things that you blow into that will trigger a button. There's giant foot pads, giant big buttons that you can like slap down with your hands. There's a lot of like cool stuff with that. This seems like a slightly different approach. It does seem pretty customizable, so I want to see how it plays out in the real world, but it does look cool. And it's neat. You can just like put it on a tripod, right? A little cold shoe mount or whatever it is. You just screw it on.
Yeah, I would think about it like if you can't have it on your lap, or for whatever reason you can't have it on your lap because you can't have it sitting on your lap, or you can't reach it, because of your arms or whatever. You can just have it on a tripod sitting in front of you or sit to the side of you.
Yeah.
So I think that is like a unique and interesting like oh yeah, like I didn't think about that. Like it's hard for people to maybe hold a controller. You could just have it standing, and especially if you only have one, maybe you can only control it with one hand. Like yeah, okay, that makes sense to have it on a tripod. All they should be now. Where's Nintendo? Right? Like where's Nintendo?
Oh yeah, seriously. Well, Nintendo does their own thing. I don't even know. Nintendo's going to get there like 10 years later and go, here's a boomerang that anyone can use, and it's like what? What is this accessible controller? You're right. You're right.
It's an actual boomerang Joy-Con.
Yeah. No, you're right though.
Shape of a boomerang.
You're right though. I think like in the PC space, there's been a ton of wild controllers, not just in the accessibility, but just wild controller options and whatnot. They've had accessible controllers for a while though, because anyone can make something for a PC. Hook it up via USB and you're good to go. Microsoft's thing was great. The Sony thing looks great. I think, I 100% think Nintendo gets one because accessibility in video games is important, right? Lowering the bar so that anybody can get in to play the game, right? If you have one arm, you have low visibility, you can't hear, or whatever your disability is, you should be able to play the game. And play the game effectively and be able to get through the game and get enjoyment out of it. Ideally, beat the game if you can, make it all the way to the end. But this is kind of a step further with that, so I love it. I'm in.
Well, it goes hand in hand with software, though. Like you can't have one without the other. Like I think you really need to have, we need to have the controller, and that's on the manufacturer, but it's on the studios to put in accessibility options.
For sure.
The settings.
All the colorblind stuff and the whatever else. The big AAA games have been doing real well with that. The Sony in-house stuff, Sony Studio Santa Monica, Naughty Dog, like I said, they do a really good job with that. Jedi Survivor has some options with that, which is good. Zelda, sadly, no options for that. I think I'll have to go back and I'll have to double check the controller and the graphical settings and whatnot. I don't know if they really have good accessibility options in that game. I'll have to double check. But
I feel like that could be a missed opportunity for like Nintendo. Like people would be more open to maybe playing Mario games and Zelda games. Like these are the games that I feel like people, especially like older people that with disabilities, that have nostalgic for, who maybe weren't disabled. I know somebody. Well, I personally know somebody who wasn't disabled back in the day who is now disabled due to like an accident. So I mean, I haven't discussed like playing video games or anything like that, but I'm not going to go into details. But it would be hard pressed for that person to play.
For sure.
Play a game. For sure. So that would be a missed opportunity for them, and great PR. Like I think they should do that. And they have it right there in the Switch where you can have like a controller and have the Switch, but you don't have to have it on a TV. It can be propped up on a tripod too, kind of. Like if you think about it.
You can definitely patch in software support for the color blindness settings and, audio options and whatnot. That's not hard to do after the fact. I mean, it's effort for sure, but it's something that you could do to just about any game, I think. Yeah.
All right. So let's transition to Microsoft. All right, an acquisition of Activision Blizzard. The EU has approved Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard.
Pop the bottles. Pop the bottles. Here we go.
With an asterisk. Microsoft would be required to offer free licenses to consumers in the EEA, which is the European Economic Area, which would enable gamers to stream any Activision Blizzard title through any cloud gaming service. So there is no 10-year deals with this. They have to offer it. Any game that's made by Activision Blizzard Studios, they have to offer it for free. Any any other streaming service, you can't have it.
It has to be available on the streaming service.
Well, it has to be available, yes.
But this is just in Europe, or the Europe Economic Area, which is probably anyone who's on the Euro. And maybe the UK as well. So, interesting. I thought it was worldwide, but this is, again, the European unions and all that who are kind of, holding this up. And the CMA also was kind of holding it up. So, I think the CMA is still saying, hey, we're unsure about this, but I think they're going to cave. Since the EU has approved it with this asterisk, it's got to be available in these nations on the streaming platform, which is interesting. I wonder what they're going to do worldwide. They probably just won't put it on the services. They'll just region lock it to whatever country you're in, if it falls within that. Because the bread and butter, as I've said, I think Microsoft's bread and butter eventually is going to be the streaming service, and they're going to get out of the console game in particular. And it'll just stream to your house via your internet, and you just need a controller and a TV, and you're good to go. And maybe a tiny little box. Maybe there's a $50 box with a Bluetooth controller and an HDMI port or whatever that comes out of that, which goes to your TV, and you're done. All right, I think
that's not what Phil Spencer said. He said it's still in the console business.
Yeah, I mean for the moment, because I don't think we're there just yet, but they're building towards that. I mean, he said that in one of the E3 presentations. I want to say 2017 maybe, before the Xbox One X or whatever. When they dropped it at the end, I think he was saying we want to be online connected and streaming stuff and whatever else, digital future. I know he's saying now that we're definitely still in the console game. They may do one more console. But then I think it's going to be all streaming.
He said in subsequent interviews after that E3 conference that they're still in the console business. They still want to be a manufacturer. They still want to have a box in the living room somewhere. So
well, they said a box.
Device. It's still going to be a device. It's still going to be a device. It's going
to be a tiny streaming device. I think we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there.
Well, everybody wants to have that then, if that's the case. Which will kill GameStop.
Yes, but I think Microsoft is building Microsoft has the infrastructure, and they're continuing to invest in the infrastructure. Because I think they're the best in the game right now at that, right?
I think they would still have a device with a hard drive where you can buy the games, not just stream them. I think
then you got to have a whole system to play it, right? If it's if it's gonna be a local thing like that, then you're in the console game again. I would say they're gonna do one more. And then they're going to go heavy into streaming. Their next console is going to be a lot about streaming, but it'll have the hard drive and maybe a add-on disc or whatever it is. And then they're after that, it's going to be all streaming.
I disagree. I think
all right, we'll see.
I don't think we're anywhere infrastructure-wise to have just streaming. I think we will have a box. They will always have a box. That's the next 2 or 3.
They will always have a console. They will always have a box.
They will always have a box with a hard drive in it. It won't.
Well, then you have a console. No, if you have a hard drive, you have a console.
It won't have a disc drive, but it definitely will have a hard drive.
Well, that's a console. You're specifically not saying console.
That's what they have.
You're specifically not saying console.
Listen, they're going to have a console. I mean, look, they were rumors that I forgot the code name for it, that they did have a little streaming device that you could plug into the TV.
Yep.
Right.
Yep. He had it sitting on the back of his shelf in one of the Summer Games Fest things or whatever, Microsoft Showcase or whatever it is.
I think they will always have a box. The box is going to all these boxes are going to keep getting smaller and smaller. and they will, and you will be able to, because it isn't. I want to have all my games. Right?
I'm with you. I'm with you.
So we're gonna be games that we download, not just stream. Streaming maybe the future won't be the end all be all, because some people still want to have their stuff. Some people still want to have their stuff that they buy.
Sure. One thing that's a likely possibility is physical versions with digital codes. So they'll give you all the feels, right? You'll get posters and manuals and whatever else and this and that. But if there's no physical disk drives anymore or any sort of physical media anymore, it's all just like a digital thing. They may do that, and then you can have your nice stuff on the shelf, but inside the shelf is a card with a 12-digit code, and then you download the game that way.
I don't think they're going to do that.
They've been doing that. My copy of Doom Eternal's like that. My copy of my special edition of Fire Emblem has a digital code inside.
Okay, well, technically
they've been testing the waters on that.
Technically, no, because that was Bethesda before Microsoft bought them.
Fire Emblem was Nintendo.
I know.
Yeah, well, lots of people Nintendo has a ton of games that are just, here's a physical box with a digital download code.
I know, but you said Microsoft, and I said that Doom Eternal is that's a Bethesda thing that before Microsoft bought them.
Oh, I would wager that I've seen in the stores Microsoft shells that just say digital download on it, and you just get a box so they can take up retail space.
Yeah, they have those small little mini boxes I've seen in retail stores, which I keep meaning to buy one.
Well, that's the same thing, right? Why would they just not make that the norm, right? It's all about access to quality internet, right? If they knew 95% of the U.S. had a good internet connection, they would all move to digital downloads, and they'd go, this is it.
And there are no boxes. It will be a card. Like a gift card, sort of, with the number on it.
I'm saying
number in it. It won't be any more cases.
Well, saying
we don't even get manuals and posters today.
Well, right. But I'm saying
get it 10 years from now,
for like the people like us who like stuff on the shelf, that could
there
be
will be
the
limited run. No,
that could be the compromise, right? You could put it. Well, yeah, it would be super niche. Yeah, you would get get limited run and special reserve and 8-bit games or whatever to do all that.
Like us, so that I called it, and it's going to happen mid-generation. This console, the next console won't have a disk drive at all. There will be a disk drive.
Well, there you go. Then it's all downhill. Then it's all downhill.
It'll be a disk drive add-on, so you could still have companies like Limited Run and Super Rare Games. They'll release them. And then after that generation, completely digital, not even disk drive add-ons. That they will have to be third-party disk drive add-ons that you can use.
Well, you're gonna get very small batch niche runs of all of these games, because they're not gonna do big million run pressings of all the discs, because they know they know that it's only 10 to 15% of all gamers would even consider buying these games. And then it's like, from that, is it a game that I actually want to play or I'm interested in, right? It could be a physical copy of Madden. I don't really care about Madden. It could be a real-time strategy game. I don't care about so it's a very small subset. I think we're kind of saying the same thing in a way. We're kind of saying the same thing. It's definitely going to change. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Oh. Well, everybody's up in arms, and we didn't talk about this last week because we were talking about Zelda. We didn't touch on it 2 weeks ago, but everybody's up in arms over Phil Spencer's comments over being in third place.
Oh,
so he's admitting that Xbox is in third place with Sony and Nintendo at the forefront. And the thing that really got people pissed off is that he said, if we make good games, that's not going to make people sell their PlayStations and buy an Xbox console. And I think I disagree to a point. No one's going to sell their Switch. No one's going to sell their PS5, but it would make them want to pick up an Xbox console or buy Games Pass, especially if they're on PC, right? Like, subscribe to them if you had good games. And I just want to use the example. I'm not saying these games are comparable in any way. I'm just using an example of, let's take the three biggest games from Sony and Nintendo, right? Like we have Zelda, we have Tears of the Kingdom, God of War, right? That was game of the year, huge game for us, right? And let's say Mario Odyssey is make it easy. I don't want to make it too tough. Mario Odyssey,
sure.
Three
all system sellers, yeah.
Huge games that we believe are system sellers, right? Let's say Halo, Gears. Well, let's say the next Halo game. Let's say the next Gears game. Let's say the next Perfect Dark game are that quality of games, right? That's Xbox's version of major, even Starfield. Let's say even I throw Starfield in that mix. If that's their version of Zelda, if that's their version of God of War, if that's their version of Mario Odyssey, and they're 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 rated games, highly rated, everybody, critically acclaimed, everybody loves them. They're going to make people subscribe to Games Pass. It's going to make people buy an Xbox. So I think he's wrong in that note. And I think he was a little emotional when he did that interview, right? Because that was the day after the UK rejected. He was emotional,
super tired.
Super tired. That was the day after the UK rejected Microsoft's acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and Redfall came out, and Redfall was a disaster. Right. So he was getting hit by all fronts. And I think he was a little too, and I love him. He's my favorite video game person.
He's great. He's a very good personality. He's pretty honest,
But I think he was honest to a fault in this case. I mean, people, the Xbox podcast on IGN, they were like, he should have never did that interview. He should have never did that.
Yeah,
he should have waited and calmed down, and so he wouldn't have been so emotional.
Right.
Because nobody wants to hear you're in third place. Nobody wants to hear, I'm not going to, putting out good games is not the solution. Because it kind of is. It's the point. Just your whole point.
You need proper IP to get people to buy games. And also, to that point, most gamers will only buy one console, right? They're going to have an Xbox or a PlayStation, or if they're Nintendo diehards, they'll have a Switch. Or if you're really into it, you may have one of those two systems and a Nintendo Switch because they're so unique in the space. And that's about it. We are outliers who have everything, right? We get all the new consoles. We get whatever the latest version is, like day one when it comes out. We are not the gamer norms, right? So yeah, if you have good games, people will want to buy it. When it comes time to say, is it Team Green or Team Blue? You got to look at what they got, right? And I think right now, Team Blue has a stronger lineup, even though Microsoft is infinity stoning all of the damn video game companies and getting everybody. It's like, all right, you got them all under your umbrella. What do you got now? Well, we got Redfall, which didn't do so well, and then we have Starfield coming out, and fingers crossed Starfield's going to do well. So
I think there was like a study before this generation came out. It was last generation. It was people had a Switch and either an Xbox One or a PS4.
Yeah,
right.
Sounds about
mostly
right.
PS4. Mostly PS4, but it was the Switch and another console, right? They're not making a compelling case.
No.
To have an Xbox over the PlayStation, right? You got to make it hard.
Yeah.
You're making it easy. You got to make it hard. You got to say, hey, look, come this way. So maybe this kid for next Christmas is gonna say, get me an Xbox and. I want to buy, Starfield. I want to get Perfect Dark, and I want to get Halo because they were, I'm saying this. These games are already out. His friends are playing them. He's not part of the conversation, but he's a part of the Zelda conversation. He's part of the God of War conversations, but he's not a part of the Perfect Dark conversation, the new Fable game conversation. If it's that caliber of game, right? He's gonna want it for Christmas next year, right? So it would affect sales going forward. He won't see a uptick right away, but it would affect. You got to be a part of the conversation of great AAA like system selling games. So great games do sell systems, and I think he's wrong in that note. I think he's wrong.
And to add to that point, especially with like kids, they want the same system their friends have so they can play online together. So if you don't have great games to get the early adopters in, then Xbox is already, their hill is no longer this. It's like this. I know the incline goes even further because now you have to worry about all that. So, Yeah, I feel like Phil misspoke a little bit, right?
Emotional. It's a little emotional.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Well, I'm going to get a little emotional.
Okay.
You know why? Because I'm going to talk about Mortal Kombat. We knew
You
a
love
new
that
Mortal
franchise.
Kombat game was coming out. I do love that franchise. Back when I was a kid, it was Mortal Kombat over Street Fighter. I would say in my brain it's Street Fighter over Mortal Kombat, but in my heart it's Mortal Kombat over Street Fighter. Just because I couldn't, when I was growing up, we called it it was like a mini mall. It wasn't like a huge mall. It was like a little mini mall because it was like a strip that you would go in and like you would go in the back and you had like the comic book shop and you could take pictures, the picture shop and little knickknacks all around, right? And in the back was our little mini arcade. And all the high school kids, and this is when I was in junior high school, all the high school kids crowded around NBA Jam and Street Fighter. So I had to go to the pizza shop with the junior high school kids, because I was in junior high school, and play Mortal Kombat, which was the game. It was the only game we get a chance to play because all the popular kids, all the bigger kids, the older kids were playing Street Fighter. So I do have Mortal Kombat in my heart, and we got Mortal Kombat 12 revealed, even though now it's going to be called the Mortal Kombat 1 in the same vein as Xbox One and Battlefield 1.
Oh, or the aforementioned Super Mario Brothers games with their terrible naming schemes.
Yeah.
I get it. I get it.
The game.
I get it.
Well,
because it's a reboot, right?
Well, the game will introduce a reborn Mortal Kombat universe that has been created by the Fire of God, Liu Kang, featuring reimagined, versions of the iconic characters.
Right,
So,
which
and
is
it's coming out September 19th.
which is apparently it's coming out pretty soon. Which is apparently the end of Mortal Kombat 11, or one of the endings, I think, right?
Well, no. So Mortal Kombat 11, Liu Kang does. at the end of Mortal Kombat 11, spoilers if you haven't beaten it, it's been out for a long time. Raiden gives Liu Kang his powers so he can go defeat the main villain of Mortal Kombat 11, which I can't think of his name off the top of my head. He does beat them. They did have DLC where it was Mortal Kombat 11 Aftermath, which I do own. I did beat that. There were two endings where Shang Tsung won and he ruled all the realms, and then Liu Kang won and he sort of rebooted the whole realm, right? Because it's all about time travel and all that stuff,
Right.
so he rebooted the world. So obviously that part is canon.
Okay. Well,
That's
there you
what
go.
this is.
Got this multiverse timeline thing, this Marvel Universe thing going on. It's cool.
Well, we know Liu Kang, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, Raiden, Kung Lao, Katana, Melina, Shang Tsung, and Johnny Cage will be in the game.
They're classics.
They were officially announced.
The classics. Those are all characters from 1 and 2. Yeah.
Kung Lao, not so much. I don't
He
think.
was in 2.
He was in 1?
He was in 2.
He was in 1?
He was
No,
in
he's
2. Yeah.
He was in, okay.
Yeah. Katana, Melina, Kung Lao are all from part 2. And everybody else is OG so far. Sadly, no, what's her name? Who was the girl in the first one? I can't think now. The special
Sonya
ops,
Blade.
Sonya Blade. Yeah.
Sonya Blade. Well, we don't know that. So we don't know
far.
that just yet. Yeah, this announced. So this is coming out for the PS5, Xbox Series X, Nintendo Switch, and PC. Now, the controversy over the announcement is that the Nintendo Switch game will be $70. It will follow Tears of the Kingdom as the second Switch game to be $70.
Okay.
Now, that sounds kind of odd because the Switch version will be, let's just, say it kindly, not as powerful or good looking, not as graphically as, look good looking as the other versions.
MK11 on the Switch was a little bit of a potato in terms of the graphics. They made it work, but you can't get up too close to it. You're gonna start seeing some.
Speaking about digital future, MK11 is one of like 10 like major games that released where only the tutorial is on the cart. You have to literally download the rest of the roster and the rest of the game and the game modes, right? So if you don't have internet, if you don't have the internet and you pop or come in, you can I think it's just Scorpion and Sub-Zero or something like I can't remember. There's only two characters
Everybody
you can
else
play
has
as.
to download. Ugh.
in one level. The whole that's it.
That's annoying too. Yeah, you got to make sure you're at home with a good internet connection. Preload the game, download it, get the license for it so you can play it on the go, and then you're good to go. Yeah, that's annoying. That's annoying. $70 for a Switch game. I mean, look, I'm gonna take the Dan opinion on this. Dan is very pro. Dan is very pro business. Businesses can do what they want to do, within reason. I think there are some extremes that are kind of out there. If they want to charge $70 for a game on the Switch, let them do that. As long as the game is complete, as long as there's a good roster on there, you're getting your value for that $70. It's the future. All games will be $70, with the exception of super indie titles, right? Everything's moving to that $70 price range.
People are up in arms because
they're up in arms over Zelda.
Hey, they are up in arms over Zelda, but I think their point is it was an easier pill to swallow 70 games when it came to like the new system because they were the new systems, right? PlayStation, Sony was the first one to dip their toe and say, no, all our games are going to be $70.
Uh-huh.
I think Ubisoft was right behind them in putting $70 on their games, no matter if it was PlayStation or the Xbox, right? And then a year later, Xbox said, yeah, listen, you got a discount for a year because people couldn't get the consoles. But now we're going to charge $70 for first party games. Mm-hmm. Sega now is in the mix of putting their games at $70. Yeah. But it was an easier pill to swallow when it was new consoles. So that was your excuse.
It makes it a little more
reason in your mind.
Yeah.
Reason mentally, like, okay, it's a new console. Games are expensive to make. It's the new console, $70. Where it's the Switch, and games don't run as good. And I'm being nice. As they do on other consoles.
That's a hardware constraint of the system. The effort involved to put your game out is no less. If anything, it's more, because now you have the Xbox and PlayStation versions and maybe a PC version, and then you have this special Switch version, which has to be like, they have to do gymnastics. They have to do coding gymnastics to get it on the system. I mean, they got Doom Eternal on there. They got all the Wolfenstein games on there. They got Alien Isolation, even though it was a couple years late, but they got that on there, and that actually looks better in some ways than the PC original. But it takes time and effort, Now, is it going to look as good in some cases? In the case of Mortal Kombat, no, it's not. But you get the ability to play on the go.
Will it run as good? Mm-hmm. Will it run as good?
Well, I mean, it has to run decently. It has to run at like 30 frames per second at a minimum, ideally 60. It probably won't do 60. It'll do 30. I mean, yeah. I mean, if the game is bad, the game is bad, right? There's no question about that, right? We kind of forgive Zelda Tears of the Kingdom with its frame drop dips and all that, and kind of the inconsistent frame rate, because Zelda is such a good game, right? And when the frame dips and whatever else, it's not great, but it's not game breaking. I think Mortal Kombat needs to be a little bit more on point because it's a very precise fighter for the most part, right? You want to make sure the inputs go in properly and all that. You want to make sure there's as minimal lag as possible on Xbox, PlayStation, and the Switch too. If the game's not good, the game's not good. Price aside. So you want to charge $100 for your game, go ahead, but you got to make a really good game. You got to come to the table with a good game. So I think those are two different arguments, right? A bad game is a bad game, whatever the price is, Now, if it's $10 and the game is bad, or the game is like not so great, people may buy it because the price is so cheap. But I don't. People want to complain. People complain when the 360 came out, right? I know it is an easier pill to swallow. But when the 360 came out, the whole conversation was, "Oh my God, these game companies are greedy. They're whatever, this and that." Inflation plus development costs.
Well, what about the PlayStation 1? Or the PlayStation 1 games?
PS1 is another example of differentiating different prices. Sony first-party games were $40, if you remember, on the PS1, and third-party games were $50 in general, right? The big games, all $50. And Sony's games were always $40. So there's always been price differences, no matter what.
Yeah, but I think you're missing the point. people are okay with the price difference. It's when you put the price difference in. If you say, okay, PS1 games have always been $40, and then all of a sudden, towards the end of the life cycle, now they're $50.
Oh, well, that was from day one with Sony. Yeah, Sony's games were always $40.
Yeah, yeah.
Third party.
But now you get Crash Bandicoot 3, and it's $50, right? Then the people would be up in arms compared to if Crash Bandicoot 3 was on the PS2 and it was $50 because it's a new hardware and it's an easier pill to swallow to say okay. So that's where people take umbrage on. You bring up the 360 games always been $60 or the 360 era, but if you say now, you know, Gears of War 3 and what was the last Halo game? Halo
Infinite.
No, Halo on 360.
Oh, Halo Reach on the 360. Yeah.
Okay, so now Gears of War
Halo
3,
4, Halo 4. I think Halo 4 came out after Reach.
Okay, so Halo Reach, Halo 4, because I think Halo 4 came out like a year after Reach.
Yeah,
right?
I think it was 2011, 2012. Yeah.
All right, so let's say Reach, Halo 4, and Gears 3 are now $70 when all the other games for the 360 were $60. Mm-hmm. This is the equivalent of that. We know the Switch is on its way out on its last legs for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
And now the games are going to be $70 when they've been $60 this whole time. That is the equivalent of that.
I will agree with you that the internet is up in arms, but counterpoint is sales numbers. Did it affect Tears of the Kingdom? No. Everybody bought it. Everybody complained. Listen, and they said, oh, it's just Breath of the Wild 1.5. It's not. And everyone's paying $70, and behind the scenes, they're happy about it because the game is great.
I think Zelda is the outlier. You could have said Zelda was $99. Well, everyone would have bought it.
Look at all the Microsoft games. Look at all the PlayStation games. Nobody's not buying them. What they say online versus what they do.
They've been $70 from day one, Dave. That's what you're missing. You're missing the point of $70.
Well, the Xbox games weren't. The Xbox games came out a year later, and now they're $70, and they're still selling. Yeah. Just as well.
They're not selling because everybody's playing it on Games Pass, and they don't have any first party games.
Well, that's a completely different story.
They don't have any
the Games Pass thing has nothing to do with it. The Games Pass thing is
It does because if it wasn't for
games that
aren't
on Games Pass, all right. Well, we can caveat that and get that out of the equation because people were paying for Games Pass to play those games.
But they haven't put out anything. They haven't put out anything other than Redfall that was exclusive. That was $70.
Well, I mean, there's other games.
Ubisoft has been. Yeah, we talk about first party. Third parties have been doing $70 from day one. Doesn't matter if it was Ubisoft was $70 no matter what on Xbox or PS5. So it was $70 no matter what.
Well, okay. I think the thing
Call of Duty was $70 no matter what.
I think the thing that's gonna hinder the sales of the
nobody's
Switch version,
gonna buy the Switch version.
The thing that's gonna hinder the sales, whether it's $60 or $70, is the performance difference. Unless you really want to play it on the go, nobody's gonna buy it for the Switch. That's the benefit, to be able to pick it up and play. If it's your only system, then maybe you'll get it if you're into fighting games. But I would assume you'd have a PlayStation or Xbox to play your fighting games on because it's just a better experience. I don't think this $10 bump or whatever is going to make a difference.
I think the $10 bump is going to make a difference. I don't think people are going to buy it. And honestly,
I don't think they're going to buy it, but not for the price.
Unless you're Zelda, Mario, or Metroid Prime 4, they're not gonna. I don't think at least Nintendo is gonna do it with Pikmin 4. That's coming out, right? Yeah. That's coming out in July. I don't think that's gonna be $70. I think you'd be hard pressed to put out Splatoon 4 at $70, even though that's not gonna come out.
I mean, Zelda's
that's not gonna come out in this system.
Zelda is a bit of an outlier because it's like Game of the Year, right? It does have that kind of people.
$100, everybody would have still bought it.
But if you start it with Zelda and you just march forward, as we've seen, okay, case in point, how much is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe?
I have no idea.
It's $60, Dan. You know that because Nintendo games never go on sale. Nintendo games never go on sale because they know people are going to buy them.
No. Nintendo games do go on sale, but they hold their value.
Rarely. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is
Mario
not.
Kart 8
It has
Deluxe
never
been
had a
on
price
sale
drop.
several times. Yes,
But
it has.
it never has. It never has. It never has
a significant price drop.
No,
it
no,
has
no, no,
a
no,
price
no,
drop during the holidays.
No. Price drop, as in now the game is now $39.99. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a holiday sale or anything like that. I'm talking about a price drop.
Even a significant drop. It hasn't had a significant drop. No.
Well, I mean, like a permanent price drop is what I'm saying. Like a sale is a sale, right? You get it on a holiday sale. Yeah, I get that. The game is Mario Kart 8 from 2013 or whatever on the Wii U, ported forward to the Switch. It's amazing, but you can't get it less than $60. Nobody is selling it less than $60.
Actually, Dave has been proven wrong once again. Target right now, $50. Amazon, $50. It's pretty much $50 at this point.
Okay, well that's a pretty recent change. We
don't know. We haven't checked. I'm sure it's probably like $50.
No, every time that I look, it's still $60 and it still tops the charts. Right? Nintendo will not drop their.
It's still top 10. It's still top 10. Well, I think your point is it doesn't get a permanent significant drop. It does get drops. They do go on sale.
But the sales are few and far. The sales are few and far between. It's a holiday sale, which everybody does. Those don't count. Those don't count. It's a buy two get one free from GameStop or whatever it is. Those don't count because they're limited. They're holiday sales. In general, Nintendo prices always $60. Right? Even
Nintendo games. Again, Nintendo games hold their value. They may if you buy it brand new, while it's still kind of like been less.
They do,
like 4 years. It'll probably go down $10. But it won't go down significantly.
I mean, they do have some dips and whatever, for sure. Now, if everything on the Switch is $70, it's a hard pill to swallow, but we're going there. And if Sony was the one that
Switch 2 was trending when this was announced. Mm-hmm. People are like, oh, it's going to be the Switch 2 because it's $70 because no one was going to buy it for $60 on the OG Switch.
Well, according to Shintaro Furukawa, the Switch 2 is nowhere in the cards. So,
the next hardware iteration is nowhere into the cards. I think it's 2025. To be honest, we have 2 more years.
Right. And I think an announcement like that, coupled with a price hike, that would be super tough. Because now people are going to be like, why don't I just wait for the new system? There's going to be a lot of hesitancy. I would give you that. If it's like a year out or whatever, they're going to go, maybe I'm not going to get it on the system because I don't know if it's forward compatible at all. Right?
Or
backwards compatible. The system
has been dipping in sales, right? Mm-hmm. Like we thought.
For sure.
We thought it can at least beat the DS and then try to reach the PS2, but it's slowed down in sales significantly.
Yeah.
The PS5 is now available in Japan, and that's outselling the Switch every month.
Sure.
Right on the charts. So I don't know how we got from Mortal Kombat to the Switch, being the Switch.
We're talking about the $70 price tag. Yeah.
But I do think the $70 price tag on regular Switch games, not named Zelda or Mario or even Pokemon, will hurt sales for those games. And I guess only time will tell to see if it does.
I think, yeah, okay.
Pikmin 4 is not going to be $70. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
we'll see.
I feel like it will. I'll make you a gentleman's bet. on that. I will make you a gentleman's
bet. Right now, GameStop has it for a pre-order $59.99, so it's not $70.
Oh, for Pikmin?
Yeah, Pikmin.
Okay, 4. Well there you go, $60. Okay. Well, they're not going to change that then, I guess. They have the sales price numbers, but okay.
I think Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon have the name power, have the power behind it. Like the nostalgia power, the audience to buy it. Right, but I don't think any. Well, Metroid Prime 4, because of the hype. I think they have that to do $70. But the smaller tier games, $60.
Yeah. Okay.
Unless it's the Switch 2. Okay. But I want to stick to Mortal Kombat 1, which we were originally talking about.
Right.
You have the premium edition selling for $109.99. I'm just gonna say $110. I'm just gonna round it off. So it's $110. You get early access beginning September 14th, alongside 1,250 dragon crystals, which is the in-game currency.
Oh,
Johnny Cage,
not a fan of that.
Johnny Cage skin styled after Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It comes full circle. Because they wanted him to be Johnny Cage. Right? That's why he does the splits in the first game.
In the original movie. In the original movie.
Well, in the original video game.
In the game, they modeled his style after Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I thought they wanted him to do the mocap. I think they wanted him to do the mocap too.
Really, I didn't know that. I know they modeled him after that.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, why would you not get the OG?
Johnny Cage.
You know.
I know they wanted to play Johnny Cage in the movie, and he turned it down to play Street Fighter, which was a bad move.
What? Street Fighter's a national treasure. Yeah, don't talk bad about Street Fighter, Dan.
The Street Fighter movie's it's trash on a Dave scale, but we love it so much because we're nostalgic for it.
No. Yeah, that game is 10 out of 10. Should have won an Oscar. It got robbed.
But anyway, early access is in 6 new playable characters and 5 new cameo fighters. Now, cameo fighters are like spirit fighters in Smash Brothers. Right? So they're not fighters that you can actually fight with, but they're like assist characters.
It has been speculated that these will be character tie-ins to other franchises. Which I think
we'll see how that goes.
Which I think could be interesting, because like they've done it before, but like with playable characters, RoboCop, Predator, Freddy, Jason, Rambo. They had Rambo and Terminator and whatnot. Having them as a cameo fighter that's not like a main fighter that doesn't get his head ripped off could be a way to get other characters that they want from other franchises in there.
So the collector's edition, which is $250, will be available for just the PS5 and Xbox Series X. It will include premium edition content plus a 16.5-inch Liu Kang sculpture.
Cool.
3 exclusive art prints, a steel case, and 1,450 additional dragon crystals, which again is the in-game currency.
Okay.
I may actually pick that up. I do have, I don't know if you can.
Adding it to the shelf up top. All right.
You probably can't see it behind me, but I do have a Ryu statue, which was a special edition for the Street Fighter V that came out for the PS4. DLC maybe have been accidentally outed by Amazon Italy with a bunch of different DLC characters, but the notable characters that they had were Homelander and Peacemaker. Which I think Homelander makes more. I think Homelander makes the most sense because he is like insecure. He's
got an ego.
He's an insecure, immature Superman, and the Amazon show is very bloody, which fits in with the Mortal Kombat style. So I can actually see Homelander being a character in Mortal Kombat. That's actually believable.
Peacemaker also, because the same company did Injustice, NetherRealm did Injustice. They are WB characters, which ultimately is the studio that owns them. So getting that tie-in could work. Wouldn't be that hard to do that. And Peacemaker is not as shitty as Homelander, virtue-wise, but I think he could fit in the series. I mean, he crushes people's skulls and all that.
No, he would fit in the series because with all his weapons use, I can see that.
Right, all the different helmets, like that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. John Cena's killing it right now. That's the case.
I love him.
Yeah. All right, let's end with a sad note. Rest in peace to the original voice actor for Crash Bandicoot. Passes away. Brendan O'Brien. He passes away at 60 years old. He was the original voice actor for Naughty Dog, the Naughty Dog years for Crash Bandicoot, which was from 1996 through 2004. My condolences go to him and his family because that's pretty young age nowadays. 60, that's pretty young. I have no details on how he died, but again, my condolences to him and his family.
Yeah. Well.
So, Dave, that's it. That's it for the news. You get any good weekend plans?
I got a karaoke birthday lined up later. That should be good.
It's right up your alley. Man,
I love karaoke. It's great. I haven't done it in ages, so I'm ready. Ready, Dan. Should be good. And obviously Tears of the Kingdom. I mean, come on now. You think I'm not going to bring my Switch with me? Of course I'm going to bring my Switch with me. Yeah. I think that's about it. What about you?
Well, it's raining, so gotta do my domesticated errands, right? Laundry, supermarket, I'm gonna try to see if I go see the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
Ah, it's good.
I haven't seen it yet.
It's good.
I meant to see it last week and I didn't get a chance to. So
You'll like it. You'll like it. Just bring some tissues with you, and that's all.
I heard. But I will say this: I still don't like Adam Warlock. I don't like the fact that they made him more of like a younger person, where Warlock is supposed to, know everything. And he's supposed to be like a grown person. So I don't know if I like this version. If they do a Adam Warlock series or movie, I feel like they're going to recast it and age him somehow.
Recast him? Oh no!
Yeah,
you can't do that.
I feel like
Will Poulter, he killed it.
I feel like first of all, I heard he was insequential to the actual story itself.
I have my thoughts on that for sure, but his performance was great.
Well, he
gave it 100%.
Listen, he's a great actor. I'm not saying, I think just wasn't the role for him. I think they should have cast somebody a little bit older to fit the narrative of Warlock in the comics. Okay. Or even in the cartoons, to be honest. Yeah. So, I to have him like as a younger person just doesn't fit.
I feel you. Yeah.
So they would have to do a lot to make him work. I'm sorry. But we'll see. I'm gonna try to see it this weekend.
Okay. Well, that is episode 360 in the books, folks, and we want to thank you guys.
Xbox 360 episode.
Oh, the Xbox 360. Yeah. We want to thank you guys for listening to the show, for liking, commenting, doing all the good stuff that you guys do. If you want to interact with us, and we know that you do, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Rated G for Gamers. Yeah. Also, check out our Patreon. Head over to Patreon and show us some love, show us some support. That's
you can
stuff.
Support us for as low as $70, just like Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch.
Or as little as $1, but feel free to give us $70. That'd be awesome. We can make some more great content for you guys. So please listen, like, rate, review, and subscribe. And as always,
keep gaming.